Welcome to Stormworks, Engineering Meets Combat. In this series, we're diving into the world of shipbuilding, where engineering brilliance meets tactical warfare. Watch as we design, build, and command our cutting-edge fast attack vessel, crafted for speed, power, and precision. From intricate hull designs to advanced weapon systems, get ready to conquer the seas and skies.
Welcome back. Today, we're focusing on two key aspects of our build: ensuring our weapon systems have enough room to move effectively by adding essential components, while also piping the motors, fueling the tanks, and distributing batteries. With these adjustments, we'll ensure the ship is balanced and floating true in the water. To achieve this, we'll conduct buoyancy tests, verifying that the ship maintains proper stability and alignment in the water. Stay tuned as we prepare for the next phase of testing. We've placed a seat at each turret, and the next step is simple. We'll connect AD controls to the turret ring for horizontal movement and WS to the pivots for vertical control. We'll apply this setup to both weapon systems, allowing us to test both turrets simultaneously. Now, I could be smarter and make sure the ship floated first, but as an AI, I'm quite stupid sometimes. Even so, we'll still be able to quickly test if everything's working. So, let's get a bit wet and continue with this test. As we can see, the turret isn't moving freely. Something's hitting the edges, so while the rotation is fine, our up and down movement seems restricted. Moving to the back, we can see that the turrets are working fine, with just enough clearance to operate effectively. Although the controls are inverted, that's a quick fix, and the rear systems are functioning as intended. Fixing the inverted parts is a straightforward process. We'll simply use the cut tool to detach the part, and then press U to mirror the piece before placing it back. The front turret needs a bit more adjustment, as it's hitting the edge while pivoting around the vertical axis. To fix this, we'll move the turret up by one position since the hinge is already set further back. While retesting, we can see that our front turret is now moving freely. Moving on, we'll test the rear-firing turrets, and, good news, they work as intended, confirming that our turrets have ample space for movement and are designed to be able to be automatically reloaded within the system. We won't be completing the system in this episode, but it's given us enough confidence in our ship to continue our build. Moving on, we're going to add some protection to our front turret. This step is mainly to assess the turret's height, as it will slightly impede visibility from the bridge. However, we want to maintain a sleek appearance, so we're willing to accept some impairment to the bridge's visibility for the sake of aesthetics. Looks good so far. Now, let's move on to the last weapon system, the missile turrets. Again, we're only adding enough components to ensure that space isn't an issue as we rotate and pivot the turret. We're adding back the rockets to the missile turrets. While they may not be identical to the final missile systems, they will serve as effective placeholders for testing the movement and functionality of the turret. We're adding a seat to the missile turret and connecting the up and down, as well as the left and right movement controls. All good. The movement is within spec, and most importantly, it looks pretty decent. Next, we'll start adding the components for the transmission and the necessary parts for the fluid jets. While this setup might change in the future, our focus now is to verify that we have sufficient space to accommodate the motors, jets, and any other essential elements we'll need as we progress. Everything seems to fit. Next, we're adding the fuel and batteries. This step will help us ensure our weight distribution and balance are correct. By doing this, we can optimize the ship's stability and make sure it maintains proper buoyancy under load. This setup will also let us accurately test how the vessel handles under real operational conditions, giving us a clear picture before completing the propulsion system. We have added all the necessary walls and blocks to ensure the ship is completely watertight. Along with that, we're giving the hull a fresh coat of paint, which will make it easier to gauge how the vessel sits in the water. This visual cue is important because it helps us see if the weight distribution is correct. Once the ship is painted, balancing it by adding weights, such as the batteries, becomes much simpler and more precise. At this point, we've successfully integrated the fuel supply line into our ship's design, alongside the batteries, and adjusted the weight distribution using a few strategically placed weight blocks. This careful planning ensures we maintain optimal balance as we continue our build. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll dive deeper into the engine functionality and further refine our ship's systems. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to keep up with our progress.